Are we good? We're good. Okay. All right. I don't see anyone here for public comments. Okay. Meeting is called to order. Can we have a roll call, please? Here.
Dr. Redis, Natalie Wonka,
Here.
J.T. Zakreski,
Here.
Angela Parson West,
Here.
Dorothy Williams,
Here.
Tracy Steele.
Thank you. Ms. West.
Madam President, I make a motion to go into executive closed session per the North Little Rock School District Policy 1.14A, stating that private or closed discussions by the board may occur as part of a regular or special board meeting. Executive sessions may be held only for the purpose of considering employment, appointment, promotion, demotion, discipline, or resignation of an employee, or to discuss matters of pupil punishment. If requested by the parent or legal guardian, no resolution, agreement, or motion considered in the executive session shall be legally binding unless the board reconvenes in public session and presents the item for vote of the membership.
Thank you. Okay. I have a motion, a second. Do we have any discussion? May I have a vote, please? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Executive session.
Yes.
Everybody mad. Well, he's mashing out again. I was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Madam Chair?
Yes.
Okay, we're back.
Okay. There was no action taken in executive section. We will move forward with action
Move
items.
Until he say what we did in executive session.
Okay.
So, Madam President, action item 4.1, the superintendent recommends the employment of personnel as discussed in executive closed session.
Madam President, I so move that we accept the personnel recommended by Dr. Paluski.
Second.
Moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Yes, action item 4.2, 2021-2022 legal transfers. I'll turn it over to my colleague, Mr. Stone, Executive Director of Student and Equity Services, to present the one legal transfer.
Dr. Paluski, good evening, board members, Madam President, Dr. Paluski. Tonight I have one. Good evening, Madam President, board members, Dr. Paluski. Tonight we have one legal transfer. Parent is trying to go to the Pulaski County School District, no, the Jacksonville North Pulaski School District. And the rationale for the move would be that she works on the Little Rock Air Force Base, and she has a child that goes to the Little Rock Air Force Base as well, and she would like to, it would be a hardship for her to drop off here and then go to work and drop off the child at the Air Force Base. So she's requesting a transfer to the Jacksonville North Pulaski School District.
Madam Chair, you need a motion.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Madam Chair, I move that we approve the legal transfer request for the student as presented.
Second.
Moved and properly second. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
All right. If Madam Chair, if you don't mind, I would like to request an update from Dr. Paluski on, obviously things are moving really fast right now. Lots of questions are being asked regarding COVID, what the districts are doing, and what they're considering. So if you don't mind taking a moment or two
Sure.
to give us that update, so I can start answering some questions since it'll be out there. So thank you.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for that question, Mr. Zakreski, Madam President, members of our board. First of all, I will say that the safety and the security of every single one of our students and all of our employees always will remain our number one priority. So what we're planning, all of our protocols as it relates to COVID-19 or now the Delta variant remain in place. We just received new guidelines yesterday from the Department of Education, which also includes recommendations from the Center of Disease Control, the Arkansas Department of Health, also recommendations from the American Association of Pediatrics. I know there's been a lot of topic of discussion and debate around mandatory masks. I've been receiving concerns from parents. I echo what their concerns are as we begin to open schools. In fact, beginning tomorrow, I think it's in our best interest to hear the voices of our parents. So we're going to be sending a survey out to all of our parents, asking where they are on how they feel about the option if we were given to mandate masks in school, if they would be in support of that, if they'd not be in support of that. I think that's good data for us as a local board of education and as educators. Equally to that, Monday, it officially closed our Virtual Academy 2.0. So with everything that's going on, we've extended that another week to another 7 days. It'll close next Tuesday. So I will also inform you that over these last couple of weeks, we've seen our enrollment numbers continue to increase as parents are just trying to simply make the right decisions for their child and for themselves. So, in fact, next week at our next board workshop, we'll be doing our opening of schools report. All of that will entail our readiness for learning plan. So that's going to go over all the changes and some of the changes that are being recommended from ADE as it relates to transportation quarantine. So we want to make sure the board is informed. We want to make sure our public's informed. We want to make sure our parents are informed as we prepare to open schools successfully on August 16th.
Quick follow-up.
Yes, sir.
I have asked you this question privately, but I wanted to ask you here because I've got people asking this too. Volunteers in the schools, parents in the schools, what is our current stance on that for the beginning of the school year?
Sure. Our current stance, based upon where we are, we're going to remain our protocols in our place. So right now, as we've ended last year, we did not allow volunteers or visitors into schools. Clearly, the guidelines from ADE specifically talk about really considering if you have events that could be super spreaders. In fact, I made the decision today we're going to postpone our in-person open houses and we're going to switch to virtual because that could be potentially a super spreader event. And so again, all of our protocols, our process procedures are in place. For an example, all of our petitions are still up. All of our sanitation procedures, all those are going to remain in place. Really, the only change here is the fact that at this point we can't mandate masks. But we know that's good practice. We know that's the right thing to do for children, and that's what I've been beginning to talk about. We have our principals coming in next week, and right now the right thing to do is model the right behavior. If bottom line is wearing a mask could save the life of a child, and we're in the business of protecting every single one of our children. So I'll be giving that guidance to our administrators on following my lead on modeling best practice.
All right, I promise this is the last question.
I have a question, Dr. Pelosi. Madam Chair?
Wait a minute.
One more, Ms. Williams, and then I'll be done, I
Okay.
promise. Regarding if, let's say, we get back to school, mask or no mask, depending on what happens over the next week or two with things going on, numbers start creeping up, get up above a comfortable level. Do we have the logistics in place to transition to virtual? And I assume that the students that are in person will be taught by their teachers virtually as opposed to, I know it's pretty impossible for us to switch over and use the Virtual Learning Academy.
Correct. So thank you for that question. Absolutely. So number one, we're monitoring our data daily. I will tell you there's even though kids are not in school, parents are doing a great job contact tracing, contacting us. We are beginning to see a few more cases in the elementary level just this past week. In the event when we monitor that data and we start to see a spike in a particular school, we will absolutely pivot to protect the health and well-being of everyone. So we're gearing up for that. That's in our readiness to learn plan, that if we gotta move to virtual learning, we're gonna be able to do that. Certainly is gonna look a little bit differently as it did last year, because remember that's why we went with Pearson, is it was very difficult for teachers to teach in person as well as to be able to teach virtually in the same setting. However, we're certainly going to be able to support that child at home. And the big thing there is making sure they still have direct instruction from their teacher. So they're still going to have Google Classroom, they're still going to have assignments to do, but as far as looking at direct instruction, let's say for 25 minutes, they should be able to have access to their teacher.
Thank you.
You through? Oh, I have a question, Dr. Pelosi.
Yes, ma'am.
I know that we had outsourced for our virtual academy. And knowing this, initially, before we spiked, we only had 191 students to get into the program.
Yes.
And in that, we have this company, and I'm sure if you had data to say how these numbers have gone out, are they able to accommodate the district for the number of students that may get involved?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And we, in our initial discussions with them, and we talked about, the fact of if we've got an increase, we'll be able to do that. Absolutely. I think we all, certainly we went down this path, we were thinking 192, but certainly as things have changed, as it happens in the pandemic, but we'll be fully ready for as many students that are in virtual learning. Again, they'll have an Arkansas certified teacher, and we'll be prepared for them to have a successful school year.
Okay. Since we have new teachers, Dr. Paluski, what kind of staff development you think has been prepared? Have you gotten to that yet with the spike going up?
Sure.
The reason I'm saying this, that when we got in it before you came on board, teachers were sort of like thrown into this and they didn't know what to do or how to do, and I think that's why so many students struggle.
Sure, you mean as far as it, being thrown into the pandemic and teaching in that? Sure.
Yeah.
So, yes, we do have new teacher orientation that's planned. I believe that's 2 days next week and the following week. We've got administrators that are going to, we actually today and tomorrow, they've had their instructional leadership training with Dr. Perlman. I was there today. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week, we have all of our principals and all of our assistant principals at the high school for 3 full days of professional development. On one of those days, probably the first day, is where we're going to go over all these guidelines to make sure that everyone, all of our leaders know what the expectations are, so when they go back to open their schools, they can articulate that to all of their staff, including our new teachers. In fact, the first day that teachers report, I think, Mr. Smith, August 10th, if I'm not mistaken. 9th, thank you for that. So rather than doing the convocation this year, we're having everybody report directly to their school so they can get started in getting this information out to our employees.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Ms. Williams.
So one last question, if you don't mind, Madam
Sure.
President. So I understand we only know the numbers here within the school district. We've offered multiple shot opportunities, and we continue to do so for the people within our community to go and receive the shot/vaccination for the COVID-19. So with that being said, what would you say our percentage of teachers that have partaken in that for our school district? Now, and again, the caveat, I understand, only if they partake or partook within our school district will we know their numbers. But what is that percentage?
That's a great question, Ms. Welcome. And first of all, you're exactly right, and thank you for communicating that to our public. We all know through all that we've been hearing, and I know it's a personal choice, but vaccination is the best preventive measure against the Delta or COVID-19. Having said that, I don't specifically have the teacher data,
Okay.
but I do have employee data.
Okay.
So currently we have 55% of our employees. We have about 1,500 employees overall. 55% of those have been vaccinated.
Okay.
We know that because we've done the vaccinations. We can't ask an individual. That's a health to personal privilege right. However, switching that is more concerning on that side. We'd love to be at 75%. Now, when we look at student vaccination, so we all know that students grades years 12 and up can be vaccinated. I am concerned here. We're currently at 1%. So the total number of students we have that are years 12 to 18 is 3,850. And we're only at 1% of that student population of that age group that have been vaccinated. So I highly encourage all of our parents to get their vaccination. Now again, that data is what we've done. They may have gone privately, and we don't have that, so I anticipate that number's higher than 1%. In fact, what we're getting ready to do that week that teachers are back, we're still going to do our mobile clinics at each one of our school sites. So parents will be able to just drive right up to the school, get vaccinated, and drive out. We're also working with our health department of considering doing in-school testing, certainly with parent permission. That will speed up the process. So if there's symptoms with parent consent, we'll be able to test that child. That way we don't have to wait another 24, 48 hours to get resolved. We can get real-time data. So we continue to work with our health department on not only best practice, but trying to get the right information as fast as we can.
Well, I know there are multiple community events coming up with shots being available. Is that something that we can place on our website so that information is ready and accessible?
Yes, in fact, we can do that. We'll also put in the superintendent's top 5 things you need to know this week as we get closer to that. We can push that out this week. We'll push the parent survey out this week. We'll also push out the deadline has extended to Virtual Academy 2.0. Absolutely. We want to make sure that parents know they can just go right to their community school. And I also anticipate that once school opens, we want to continue, depending on what our numbers are, offering multiple opportunities for vaccinations. By the way, the health department, Baptist, all of our local providers have been just absolutely outstanding. They're constantly asking, what do we need? How can we help you? How can we set up mobile clinics? So they have been very, very supportive.
Great, that's good to hear. The shot is important. Very good.
Oh, I just realized too what you said, because the North Rock Clinic they're posting it on TV every hour seemingly.
Yes.
From 8 to 4, and they can bring their children in as long as they have the shot records. No charge, it's free.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Quick
Yeah.
question to follow up on what Ms. Wonkum asked. As far as, since we know that the numbers are a little bit lower than what was anticipated or what you would feel comfortable with, will it be an option somewhere on the survey to maybe say or ask a question if they feel like that's optional, if they want to say that, yes, I have been vaccinated, or no, I haven't, or are you interested in being vaccinated?
Sure. We can certainly do that. I'll just want to double check with Mr. Beckett on the legal side, because we can't, that would be a voluntary, an anonymous, but a voluntary survey, number one. But I would, defer to Mr. Beckett just to make sure on the language that we're not violating anyone's, HIPAA rights as it relates to their own health records. But yes, I mean, we need to know that information, because we know that there have been families have gone out on their own to do that. It would just nice to know for us as a board, me as a superintendent, what percentage of our students, what is really the percentage, at least of those that would have participated in the survey.
Agreed. I have received a lot of emails regarding that question, that data, and that's just some things that, we can't go. I can't ask Ms. Williams, what you got? What kind of shots do you have? So,
No, we can't violate
That's
that. But
definitely
I will
something.
tell you, all of us as superintendents are struggling with that, trying to get accurate data without ensuring that we're not violating anyone's rights.
Don't
Yeah.
want to violate anyone.
I would definitely encourage anyone and everyone to go and receive the shot. It is definitely something that is a non-selfish act. So definitely, if you can and if you're able, go get that needle.
Thank you.
Madam President, I think we adjourn.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay, we're adjourned.